what that means is resonate the sound. We are on the air. Welcome around the world on YouTube and welcome to this station. I'm Cornbread Chris Heineken. Oh yeah, by the way, you on this YouTube simulcast? Why don't you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and then ring that bell, ding, ding, ding. That way you ain't missing anything. And we are still in the middle of our season 6 premiere. And this has been a great, great series, and we're going to continue. It's all about getting ready. 3 weeks ago, we talked about getting ready to move. 2 weeks ago, we talked about getting ready to see. Last week, we talked about getting ready to experience God at work. As we go inside the world infamous Resonate Church, and our senior lead pastor, Brian House, is standing by. Tonight, the series continues as we're learning to get ready to speak. Pastor, all yours. Let's rock and roll. Let's go resonate.
We've been on a series since I've been sick, we haven't, but we've been on a series that's called Getting Ready. And we're going to talk about getting ready this morning, but we're going to talk about it in a different format. Now, this is going to help a lot of you that's been struggling with things. This is going to help a lot of you that's been struggling with mishaps or seems like you keep making the same mistakes and fall back and you don't understand why. This is going to help you. And this part of the series is called Getting Ready to Speak. Now, it ain't always just speaking with words.
Yeah.
It's speaking with what you leave behind.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay? And what you leave behind is always more powerful than what you're going to put forward. Because what you leave behind is going to last forever. Words get mixed up. Words are like fishermen. They caught a fish like this.
Yeah.
That's right.
By the end of the tail, that fish has gotten big.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? They add to it or they take away from it, and it just goes on and on. But we're going to talk this morning about getting ready to speak. Now, this means we're going back to Joshua 3, chapter 3. And we're talking about this because we know that Israel has experienced God's power. They have crossed over the Jordan River. Come on.
Yeah.
We know that they crossed over into the Promised Land. And we know that by they were getting ready to move.
Right.
They were getting ready to see it. Last time we were talking about they were getting ready to experience it.
Right.
Now Joshua and the children of Israel witnessed God fulfill every promise that He told them. Right? And that's awesome. We're getting ready to see that. We're fixing to, certainly, I believe that Resonate's fixing to start seeing the promises that's been coming in. I think that's why we've been battling.
Yeah.
And now we're starting to see the promises being fulfilled. Promises that were fulfilled when you were a child. Promises that's been fulfilled that you don't even know were spoke over you yet. Come on.
Right.
Things are fixing to change. Now, this is you can say, how can something be fulfilled over me that ain't been spoke over me yet? You got to think that was 4 generations that was promised the promised land, and when they finally got there, some of them never heard of it.
Yeah.
It was spoke over them before they even were born. Come on.
Right.
So there's stuff that's been spoken over you, over by grandmas, great-grandmas, or somebody you didn't know in the church that has spoke over you that's come to pass. Brother Pacheco is, some of you that's been with me for a while know that he's been a good friend of mine, but he comes from the hills in Mexico, and he'll tell you he's a Mexican Indian. They're different and knowledge. And he was sitting there one day at the age of 9, and he watched his mom rip up one tortilla into 4 pieces to feed him and his brothers. And he said, it got to me. The next day, she ripped up another tortilla, and that's all they ate that all day. He said, the 3rd day when she ripped up the tortilla, I stuck it in my pocket, and I took a journey.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he left. He ran away. He came out of the hills and went to Mexico City, eating that one little piece of tortilla, 1/4 of that tortilla.
Wow.
He lived on the streets, right? And at the age of 11, someone finally found him. When they found him, his belly was full of worms, and he always makes fun. I wish he was here. He'd tell you the story. He said, I had ring neck. In other words, his neck was real skinny. Had nothing but when I mean belly full of worms, it's like the commercials we see when they ask us to help Africa and so forth. And so someone asked me, he said, hey, you want a chance at America? And he's like, yeah, I want to go to America. So they picked him up and threw him on a truck. And didn't realize it, but he was being sold into slavery. And he went down to a little place called Hamburg, Arkansas. When he got down there, he didn't know it, but there was truckloads of them. And when they got him off, what they did, the guy from the U.S. bought them all 1 hamburger and a Coke. He said, man, it's the only time I've ever seen Coca-Cola. And he goes, man, I was so excited. I was eating this greasy hamburger. And you got to think about this. This kid been on the streets not doing nothing. And he goes, this hamburger, he goes, grease was hanging down there, and I had a Coke. And he goes, while I was eating it, they pushed me out across this stage, and he goes, I didn't know what I was doing, so I was sitting there just eating my hamburger, and he got bought into slavery. Right? And this is in the 70s, y'all. This ain't very long ago. So he grew up working in plantations and stuff in Arkansas, and doing cotton and planting this, and tomatoes are big down there where they're at. And he was doing tomatoes and everything. He never knew he was a slave. Never knew that he was bought. And then he got where he was the one that they trusted, so he'd go to town and he'd do this. Well, he always thought he was a free man.
Yeah.
So one day, the hospital was hiring someone to speak Spanish because the population grew and no one could tell him the medication. So he told me, I can speak both. So he thought he got his first American job. And they were like, do you have your papers? And he's like, I ain't got no papers. So they hired him on the side because they didn't have no one to speak English. So he was helping that on the side and whatnot. So he stopped working in the plantation. He stopped working in tomato fields. And then all of a sudden one day they came to get him and they're like, well, he goes, what are you doing? He goes, you got to work for us. He goes, why do I got to work for you? I'm working at the hospital. I get to wear all white and this is great. And they're helping me get my papers. They're helping me. And he goes, because I own you. And Brother Chick was like, what do you mean you own me? He goes, I bought you when you were 11.
Oh.
So everything changed. Now I'm telling you this story because now if you know Brother Pacheco, that man let him work and he bought himself away from that guy. That's pretty powerful. But as he done that, he started getting mixed up with the cartel and whatnot, and his life went bad and everything went south, and he went to prison after everything went bad. And while he was in prison one day, he's like, God, if you will, send someone here to talk to me. You send someone in here to talk to me about who you are, God, and if you're real, I'll follow you. And he says it wasn't probably 10 minutes later, and some prison ministry came in. They talked to him. He served his time. He got out, and he started going to church. Now here's the catch. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
He never thought he had a chance because he never had no one pray over him.
Yeah.
He never had no one. He didn't have a mom and dad that prayed with him or nothing because he left them. He was just always alone.
Okay.
And out of nowhere, he meets the love of his life. Miss Cindy Pacheco. When he meets her, it's mind-blowing. She's blonde. She's everything the U.S. is about. Come on, somebody. And he falls madly in love, and they sit there and they get married. They have these gorgeous kids, and now they got grandkids and all this good stuff. But he married them, and one day they were sitting there, and he was at church, and he was crying. And this is later on when he's pastoring, so this is years down the road. And I go, what's wrong with you? He goes, man, you spoke about how people speak blessings. He goes, I never had no one speak a blessing over me. It's just been luck that I got to do everything I did. And it ain't luck. And he goes, yeah, it has to be luck. I come from the mountains, and he told me his story, and I said, it ain't got to do nothing with luck. Someone prayed over you and you didn't know it. And he goes, oh, there's no way. Well, his mother-in-law heard the story.
Right.
And his mother-in-law goes, Adrian, that's his name, Adrian Pacheco. He goes, what? He goes, I prayed over you before you even was around. He goes, how did you pray for me if you didn't know me? She said, since my baby girl was born, I prayed that there'd be a God-fearing man that would marry her, that would take the kids to church, and he would, he'd work jobs, and he'd be successful. And he just started crying. She goes, so, Adrian, I've been praying over you before you even met Cindy. So don't think people ain't praying over you, and that don't mean nothing. Them are the testimonies, and them are the things that last a lifetime.
Right.
So here we are back in the story, and you say, what's this got to do with this? Well, it's important that we learn to leave something behind.
Yes.
That's good.
It's important that we don't only, leave some legacy about our family and namesakes and inheritance. I'm not talking about that. It ain't all about being fancy, and it ain't all about being money tied up. It's about leaving something behind that people can grasp. When Adrian heard that his mother-in-law has been praying for him before he even met Cindy, something changed in him. In fact, if you know the story like I do, he went from one business to another business to owning restaurants, and now they're multiple. Why? Because he believed that someone prayed for him, and that was enough to encourage his faith that now he's probably one of the best business entrepreneurs I've ever met. It just keeps growing. People say, how'd that come from that? Knowing that somebody's got your back. Knowing that somebody left something behind that you can build on. It ain't about building on in the physical, but it's about building on in the spiritual.
Yes.
And that's powerful. So it's important that we leave something behind. Something that speaks faith. Everyone say speaks faith. Something that just changes something. Leave something behind that when they talk about you, like, man, he's a God-fearing man. Man, they done this and he done this and God moved in his life. That's the things that we need to leave behind. And the beautiful thing is, in this journey called life with God, He gives us opportunities to leave things behind that can mark a legacy or can be what starts the faith for somebody else. God gives us this journey of walking with Him so He can do a couple of things, and most people don't realize this. He gives us this journey so He can prove Himself and then prove to other people what we can do when we serve God.
Right.
And that's the key.
Yes.
So there's something powerful here in Joshua chapter 4. And when the story starts to open up, we're going to start with verses 2 and 3. But when this starts to open up, there's a commandment there, and there's something there that they got to do. And we miss it sometimes, but it's probably one of the most powerful stories that there are. Joshua 4, 2 and 3 reads like this. Take you 12 men out of the people, out of every tribe, and command ye them, saying, take you hence out of the midst of Jordan, out of the place where the priest's feet stood, 12 stones. And they shall carry them over with you, and leave them in a lodging place where they shall lodge this night. So in other words, in what we can understand it, what he got told was, hey, when you get done crossing, you get 12 guys to go where the priest has been standing.
Okay.
Where the priest has been standing, there's some solid rock.
Yeah.
And there's some big rocks sitting there. And I want you to dig them rocks up out of the mud. And I want you to have them men, which represent every tribe, in other words, represent every race of people. And I want you to bring them, and where you're lodging that night, I want you to pile them up. I want it to be a landmark.
Yes.
Now think about that for a second. I want you to get this. Why would they leave a landmark? It does something, and I need you to get this. You're going to pass at some point in time.
Right.
You're going to move on. Either you're going to pass and go into heaven, or you're going to move and go to another church, or you're going to move off to another city. Some reason, sooner or later, you're going to leave. But God didn't leave you where you were before you moved without leaving a legacy.
Right.
Yes.
You've got to leave a landmark. So check this out. What this does is, it speaks. Everyone say speaks.
Speaks.
It speaks for us. Sometimes we're trying to speak for ourselves, but when it comes to God, we ain't got to speak about ourselves. God gives us something that speaks for us.
Right.
So what happens is, we can leave behind one thing that speaks for us, that speaks how we have faith in God. Come on. It can speak to those who follow after us. It gives them a testimony. It gives people something that they can work for. So listen, if you're a druggie and you had drug addiction, alcohol addiction, if you just had a bad life, or you've been abused, or you've been raped as a child and you survived, listen, that's your testimony. That's your legacy.
Right.
That's your landmark. Yes, it might have hurt. Yes, it might be difficult. But that's what God's going to use to leave your legacy. So when they look at you, they can say, look where God brought them out of.
Right.
They used to be strung out, but they're not strung out no more. They used to have bad relationships, but look where God's got them going now. He's going to leave a landmark that speaks for you, so you don't have to speak for yourself.
Right.
And that's a beautiful thing. Think about this, that every time that the children of Israel would go past that one spot, think about what they would see. They see the generation that decided that they were going to the promised land.
Yeah, come on.
They would see the ones that crossed the Jordan. They would see a landmark that said, hey, we can make it. We come out of slavery, but we can come out free people.
Right.
Always leave a mark. Right? Isn't that
Right.
awesome?
Amen.
So you find out in Joshua 4, 2 and 3, that God gives instruction.
Right.
Now you need to know this, because if you don't get this, God's giving you instruction to leave something so the people that are following you can make it.
That's good.
Right. That's
The
good.
Bible says that goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life.
Right.
Everyone say follow me.
Follow.
If it's following you, it's not meant for you, it's for the ones behind you.
That's good.
Right? So he's telling you, leave a legacy, leave something, leave a mark. Let them, and there's no shame in like overcoming something. Come on.
Right.
Let them know you had a struggle. Let them know you had a hiccup. Let them know that you had an addiction at one time. Let them know you were broken hearted. Let them know your past. Why? Because that proves who God is and what you can do through God.
Yes.
Right.
And once you get that, everything changes.
Yeah.
So think about this. Every time Israel people went by and they see them stones, they knew where they came from. Every time one was broken hearted and didn't think they were loved and didn't matter and God wasn't here, they went by that stone and guess what happened? They seen that, and it changed their attitude.
Right.
The difference between me and you, we're walking testimonies.
Come on.
So what we live and where we go shows people that God can bring you out of it. Come on, bring you out of everything.
Yes.
Looking through this crowd, there's people that's been addicted. Come on.
Yeah.
People that's been lonely. Come on.
Yeah.
People that's been raped and abused. Come on.
Yes.
Why do you raise your hand? You know my story. Come on, stuff happens. Right?
Right.
There's people that's been in bad relationships that don't trust no one. But look where God's got you now.
Yes.
Ain't you survived what no one else like you survived?
Right.
Ain't there some going through some heartache, going to have to make some decisions. But listen, there are decisions that God needs you to make. And once you make these decisions, guess what? People around you, your kids, your grandkids, other women, and people at work that's watching you, are going to say it had to be God that got them through that moment.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what we believe. He didn't move us to tell us to go just to go for no reason. He didn't let us see all the miracles for no reason. He didn't let us experience this to experience. He let us do that so we can be that living testimony that wherever we walk, hey, it's proof that God's still in control, proof that God still lives,
Yes.
proof that God still saves, proof that God still overcomes, and we're that living testimony.
Right.
So we got to understand that. In other words, you can look at the stones that they left behind as memorial, like headstones that we leave.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is the headstones that we live mark where the dead are.
Oh, come on.
The memorial that we live is marking where the living's going. Come on, somebody.
Yeah.
There's a difference there. So I want to break down this in a different way, not just get round up and get you excited. But I want you to realize what's really going on here. Most of the time when we struggle in our lives, we don't think we're doing nothing. It's no good.
Right.
Right? And there ain't no good that come out of this. Right? But think about this. Not only, everyone say not only,
Not only.
crossing the river, not only did the trail stones represent God's power to
Yeah.
stop the river,
Yeah.
but it did something. It represented the people's faith in what God could do.
Ooh.
See, we teach sometimes that they pick the trail stones there to mark a spot where God done a miracle.
Yeah.
God don't need no markers.
Come on.
He marked a spot to show where your faith in God done something miraculous.
Yeah.
Oh.
Something that was awesome. Them stones prove that, hey, this is where I moved for God. This is where I seen God do great works.
Right.
This is where I experienced His hand first on.
Yes.
Now think about this. So what this does, it shows it's a monument of their faith.
Yes.
And I'm going to add this because this will make you feel good. I know y'all. You ready? Their faith in what you did.
Ooh.
See, sometimes we got to feel like we done something. And we always like, ain't what you did, it's what God did.
Come on.
Listen, let's just be real. Y'all got quiet on me, love.
Come on now.
I know I'm telling you the truth. It's all about what you did. I won't act like it ain't.
Come on.
God knows how you are. He programmed you.
Yes.
What God does, He goes, look, I'm not trying to rob you there, but it ain't about what you did physically. It's about what your faith did through me.
Yes.
So that monument is not only a testament of their faith, but what their faith can do.
Yes.
Hey, you might be going through something you can't make it. You don't think you're going to survive. You need to look back at the last thing that God got you through and let your faith remind you He got you out of worse circumstances.
Yes.
He's got you out of worse problems before. Oh, Pastor, this was worse than the other one. But you add up the other 4 things that God's done for you, it don't matter what He's fixing to do for you. It's not too big or too little for God. He's going to move you forward.
Yes.
You need to look at your monuments and see where He took you.
Come on.
Well, Pastor, I ain't got no monuments. Well, you need to look at where Grandma come from.
Come on.
You need to look where Grandpa come from. You need to look where the old lady at the church that prays for you, but no one else prays for you.
Yeah.
You need to look at some monuments of some elders, some monuments of the early church. See that God's still God. He ain't never stopped. He's still working. You just don't have a testimony yet.
Mmm. That's
But
good.
once you get one,
Come on.
there's no stopping you. Because that's what reminds you of what God did. Hey, that's what reminds you of what you did through your faith. Since you got to be a busybody in the middle of everything, won't you let your faith start doing the work instead of your mouth?
Yes.
Yes. Come on.
That's the difference. Ain't that cool?
It is.
So let's look at what the children of Israel did. They crossed the river. They entered into the nation. But guess what? They entered with all their belongings.
Oh.
Listen, sometimes we're afraid to change because we think we're going to lose something.
Yes.
Oh, help us,
The
Lord.
stuff you lose when you go to a new level, the stuff that didn't belong to you anyway.
Come on.
Oh, we're so in a hurry. I move up to a new level, but I'm afraid I'm going to lose this. You're afraid of losing something you're attached to. That don't mean it belongs to you.
Ooh.
So when they entered into the promised land, now check this out. When they entered into the promised land, they left everything else that they thought was theirs. Everything else that was an attachment, and they entered in with what belongs. Sometimes you can worship better when you know what really belongs.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Well, I'm hanging on to this. Was it yours? Well, I got it from somebody. Yeah. Come on. I'm going to say this if I had to, if this offends you. It does. Sometimes we'll hang on to people that's passed longer than we hang on to God.
Yes.
Oh, my Lord.
Although the Bible tells you make nothing a memorial for anybody.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, come on. It tells you not to.
Exactly.
Why are you mourning someone that's passed? Well, I love them. You're a friend. Remember them.
Yeah.
Don't moralize them.
Yes.
Right.
Because that don't belong to you.
Right.
Oh, come on. Get mad. I don't care. You got to think about it. Sometimes is that what keeping you back?
Oh.
Sometimes that your excuse.
Mm.
Sometimes that what you use to say you're pouting over, but you're pouting over something else.
Ooh.
They had to let go of that 4 generations
Come on.
of a promise. Oh, come on.
This is
4
good.
generations of this tradition, and this, that, and things that got handed to you. Listen, you know what's really cool? When they entered into the promise, that before that, they never had to change their shoes.
Right.
Oh, but when they got to the new promise, then they had new shoes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Where's someone else's hand-me-downs that didn't belong to them?
Right.
Now we're talking. They're starting to walk in their blessings and their faith.
Yes.
So think about that. So they entered into the promised land, right? With new belongings, their belongings, stuff that was theirs. Hello.
Yes.
Come on.
That's powerful.
It is.
That's stuff that belonged to Satan, not stuff that belonged to slavery. Come on.
Mm.
They entered the promised land. And guess what they did? When they entered the promised land, they embraced what God had gave them.
Yes.
They
Come on.
embraced it.
Yeah.
This is ours. Embrace. Hello?
Yes.
Support. Snuggle. Hug.
Mm-hmm.
Embrace. Not taking it for granted.
Right.
They realized that, hey, you know what? There's a monument on the other side where them guys never got to enter the promised land.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come on.
Grandpa and Grandma can only go so far.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on.
Now you hear me? So once they got there, they got, hey, we got to embrace that we're the ones that are chosen.
Yes.
We got to embrace that we're coming across with the things that belong to us.
Yes.
We got to embrace this moment that God gave us.
Yep.
Think about that. It's powerful.
It is.
Very powerful.
All that's true, but they done something even bigger.
Okay.
They had to believe God.
Ooh, that's the key.
Don't get me wrong, it's going to aggravate you, but the generations before didn't believe God, they trusted Moses.
That's right.
Mm.
You find that in Joshua 1, 2, and 4. Come on, when Moses is dead, they followed around for 40 years. It took a leader to die before they believed in God.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Problem with the church the last 10 years. Too caught up on leaders.
Yeah.
Too caught up on guest speakers.
Yes.
Too caught up on bishops. Eh?
Come on.
Come on. Too caught up on this. He's famous. He's a good man. He writes books. Too caught up on that.
Yeah.
To even know, to even believe in God.
Yeah.
Same God that your pastor prays for your healing, you won't receive it if it don't come from a certain speaker.
Right.
Come on, that's how it is. It's what destroyed the local church in the last 7 to 8 years.
Mm.
We got fancy.
Yes.
Mm.
Come on, you're saying you're talking bad about pastor. I ain't said a name yet.
Yeah.
Come on.
But think about what's happened. Look at your churches.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't it funny that God don't move and it's your pastor, but you got a guest speaker and you all act different.
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord. Mm.
You don't invite nobody to church. When you get a guest speaker, you'll invite the whole.
Ooh. Mm.
The only other time you invite people is when there's free food.
Oh, come on.
Come on.
Come on now.
Come on. You either got to feed your entertainment, you got to feed your belly.
Mm.
Well, so here they are. 40 years. I know it's going to go back and get me. I don't care. 40 years. I've been blackballed for the last 7 years. 40 years. 40 years. Here they are.
Yeah.
Believing in a man. A man that gets right to the edge of the promised land, but he ain't got what it takes to cross it.
Ooh.
Come on.
They believe in him so much, Although they gripe at and complain, come on, even worship a stupid cat, but anyway, they gripe at and complain, God still provides.
Yeah. Right.
God gives them in, God gives them all. But they don't believe enough to cross over, and sure don't believe enough to cross over with their belongings.
Yeah.
Right. That's right.
Are you hearing it? But this generation,
come on,
saying, you know what? Moses is decent and all, but I don't believe him as much as I believe God. And God's like, that's the generation I'm waiting on.
Yeah.
Right.
Kill off your leader.
Yeah. Ooh.
You're going to say that's harsh. But Moses is dead.
Right.
Did you notice what happens as soon as Moses dies? As soon as Moses dies, no faith changes.
Yes.
This generation realizes, you know what? Our forefathers didn't believe in God. They believed in Moses.
Come on.
They didn't believe in a personal relationship. They believed in the relationship that Moses had with God.
Come on.
Come on now.
Oh, come on. If we're going to be real, that's how some of us are.
Yeah.
We don't read the Bible and you argue with a pastor. Ain't what grandma says. They ain't how grandpa interprets it.
Come on. Real talk.
Well, that's why we're in the mess we in.
Yeah.
We got to have entertainment or certain ministers to do anything in the local churches.
Come on.
Come on. So what happens? Moses is dead. Now the people are like, you know what? We can't believe in a man that ain't a God.
Ooh.
We better believe in the one and only God.
Come on.
Now think about this. Think about this. Think about what their believing did. Their believing keeps God from canceling the promise. Because you think Moses is dead after 40 years, God can be like, oh, I'm done with this.
Come on.
You can't believe me. You'll believe Moses. You believe a man that'll make you drink grounded up calf and make you drink your false god. You'll believe him before you believe me. Yeah. What happens?
Help us, Lord.
They start believing in God. So the difference is why they get to enter the promised land is they're not relying on man.
Come on.
Church, you don't need to rely on man. I'm your pastor, but you don't need to be relying on me.
Come on.
You better be relying on your personal relationship with God.
Yes.
Oh, come on, somebody.
Yes.
Listen, spouse, you better not be relying on your spouse's relationship with God. You better have one on your own.
Yep.
So once they realize that they're believing in God, everything changes. And God refuses. Everyone say refuses.
Refuses.
He refuses to break that promise. He's like, you know what? Everything I ever promised any of your forefathers, I'm going to give you.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
And he did. Now, I want you to get this. Everyone say past promises.
Past promises.
You got past promises that belong to you. You don't even know it.
Woo!
You will say, how? They were promised 4 generations earlier. This generation ain't even for sure what was promised. They've been hearing it from a man's mouth. Oh, but God says, you're going to believe? I'm going to give you promises you ain't never heard of. I'm not only going to promise you the promised land, but everywhere your foot touches is your ground.
Yeah.
I'm going to promise that you're going to be took care of. You're my chosen people. I'm promising there'll never be a battle I didn't win before you got there. Come on. I'm promising everything that was promised.
Yes.
You'll get.
Yes.
That's biblically. But look at the promises he gave grandmas and great-grandmas that no one knew they prayed for.
Woo!
So when he says they crossed over with their belongings, they crossed over with everything the devil stole for over 40 years.
Yes.
That's the difference. What done that? They believed.
Yep.
So far, it ain't about the stones being the monument. It's about their belief being the monument.
Ooh!
The 40 generations before them, their monument is where Moses died. Oh, come on. Yeah. But now they're starting going on their own. It's where we believe.
Right.
As I believe, I got promises over promises. As soon as we started believing, we crossed over the Jordan. Oh, come on, church.
Right.
That's the difference. Come on. That's something awesome.
It is.
Now here's something else that's awesome. They had to disbelieve a fact. That's going to mess you up. But this is Joshua 3:15. We preached on this already. We're going to give you a reminder. You ready? Yeah. It says, as they were to bear the ark came into the Jordan, that their feet of the priests that bear the ark were dipped to the brim. And we'll say the brim. I'll preach on this. That's a sermon, boy. When it hit, in other words, the river was out of its banks.
Okay.
If you study on this, this is what we would probably call a 1,000-year flood.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So in other words, not only is the river out of its banks, but it's farther out of its banks than it's ever been before.
Yes.
Everyone said that's a fact.
That's a fact.
That's a fact because you can prove that in history still today.
Yeah.
At this timeline, that Jordan River was swollen, and it was because of the seasonal rains and runoff, and it was the worst flood they've ever seen. Everyone say fact.
Fact.
Fact. Sometimes your facts gotta be greater than fact.
Yeah.
Woo!
Fact. When the river, listen to me, you'll get this. When the river's outside its banks, it's fact. You can't cross it.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? Let's add another fact. You all ready?
Mm-hmm.
It's impossible to cross. Not only is it impossible to cross, you ready? But it's impossible for 1 million plus people to cross it.
Oh.
Some of you want to know how many are that counted over 1 million and stopped counting.
Yeah.
Come on.
That walked over with their belongings. Oh, come on, somebody.
Yeah.
God's stuff multiplies. There wasn't that many when they started. Come on, somebody.
That's good.
Listen. So in other words, here's fact one. You ready? Fact one. River outside the banks, worse than ever.
Yeah.
No one crossing.
Mm-hmm.
Fact one. Fact two. There ain't no way over 1 million people
Come on.
going to cross something that's out of its banks.
Yes.
You with me now, right? Oh, but here's where they good howevers are. I like
Okay.
however. Most of you like buts.
Yeah.
Come
I'm
on.
not talking about them. Come on, don't make me do something silly.
Oh,
Listen,
we're free.
some of you like, I believe I can do this, but.
Yeah.
You need to change your butts to however. I'm working on that.
Amen.
This is where you erase that button. You say, but however, this is where God decided to bring them out.
Yeah.
Right.
So where are you at?
Yeah.
Hello? However, this is the moment that God chose his people to cross.
Yeah.
Right.
How's that? Fact says you can't cross.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fact says that no one can hold the river back for 1 million people to cross from shore.
Come on.
You all agree with the facts?
Yeah.
But however,
Have.
God says for you to believe, oh yeah, however,
Yeah.
just because it's a fact that you can't cross it, a fact that it's out of the banks, don't mean I ain't God and I can't do it.
Right.
However, this is where God brought them. I want you to get what I'm talking about. This is where God brought them.
Yes.
He brought them where physical facts meet spiritual facts.
Yes.
Oh, come on, somebody. He brought them to a spot where they're like, ain't no way. God's like, let me show you the way.
There you go.
Now listen, he brought them there, right?
Yeah.
His promise laid out is on the other side.
Yes. Come on.
You want this to spend your promise, your belongings and everything on the other side. Fact number 3, everything I want from God's on the other side of the
Yes.
fact said I can't get it. Fact says I'm always going to be a drug addict. It's a lie. Come on, somebody. Fact says I'm always going to be a prostitute. That's a lie. Fact says I'm always never going to be no good. Fact says my family ain't never meant nothing. Fact says your mom and daddy don't love you. Fact says this, that's how you grew up. But God says on the other side of the facts
Yes.
is where your promise lies.
There you go.
On the other side of the facts.
Yes.
Well, fact is, my husband's living me. Fact is, I'm stuck with all these kids. Fact is, we're in love, but we ain't doing what we should be doing. Come on, somebody. Fact. God's like, I hear your facts. I got you to this point. But your promise is on the other side of the facts.
Ooh. 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 That's good.
Fact, let's just talk the rest of it. Fact is, yeah, you used to be the powerhouse around here. Fact is, yeah, you couldn't hold them. You had too many people, you had to build a bigger church. Fact is, I had you build a bigger church. Fact is, I split them up because it was time to split up.
Yeah.
Fact is, I moved you back into the neighborhood. Fact is, I had to.
Come on.
We're like, God, what's on the other side? Oh, there's 20 million people watching you.
Come on. Preach.
Fact is, you too busy trying to be the big church in Jonesboro, but I'm trying to let you be the biggest missionary church they are on the other side of the world.
Woo.
Your promise is on the other side of your
Facts.
fact is your husband don't come to church. Promise is he's going to go to heaven.
There you go. Promise.
Are you hearing me? Fact is you got cancer.
Yeah.
Promise you're healing on the other side of your fact.
There you go.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Come on.
That's awesome.
It's like my dad told me. I don't know where I lost leg. Well, fact is you lost your leg.
Yeah.
But the promise is still heaven.
Yes.
That makes sense?
Oh, yeah.
So this is where God's got you. He's got you to where the facts are and where your promise is on the other side.
That's awesome.
Even though all the facts say you can't make it. Where all the facts say that you're done. When all the facts say you're going to drown.
Come on.
All the facts say you're not going to cross. Come on, somebody. All the facts say you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
You're going to be alone. You're never going to be a couple. You're always going to be. When them facts say that, that's when God's fixing to deliver you in a way you ain't never been delivered.
Oh, come on, preach.
Joshua 3:15. And as we buried the ark, you hear me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With the feet, it says brim here. In other words, picture this. This will help you. We've all been by rivers. We're in the flatlands of Arkansas. We know what we're talking about. I come from Randolph County. There's 5 rivers in Randolph County. The only county in Arkansas that's got 5 rivers. There's a river rat. I'm standing in that pole just to aggravate Dennis right now. Anyway, you told me last time I was here, you stand in front of that pole all the time. Can you see? Anyway. Fact is, when rivers outside the banks, right, it's to the brim, means that some of the water is starting to roll into the grass.
Yes.
Okay.
You ever been walking outside? You do not know it's been raining? Or you didn't know all of a sudden you touch something and it's wet? And you're like,
Yeah.
You look down, you're like, it don't look wet, but it's wet, right?
Yes.
So the key thing to this is, it says the river is outside its banks and it's on the brim. So in other words, it's gone far as it can go. In other words, when I'm looking over my feet, I can tell that it's outside its banks. But I don't know how close it is to me until my feet touch it.
That's right.
Because it's hid by the grass.
Yeah.
That makes sense? Now listen to what it says. Where they dip the brim of the water. In other words, these priests, carrying that ark, carrying that power of God. I say, carrying that power of God.
Carrying the power of
I
God.
need you to understand you're carrying the power of God.
Yes.
See, the problem is you're too busy looking over that other side. And God's like, no, the miracle happens at the brim.
Woo!
The miracle happens the moment you believe.
Yes.
See, if you keep looking at the big picture, you can't believe it because that Goliath's too big. It's too big. God's like, don't be looking at what's over yonder. Just be feeling for what's underneath.
Woo!
So as these priests, and I want you to get this, side by side, right? They all didn't touch the brim at the same time.
Okay.
Are you hearing me?
Yeah.
Stop thinking everything's got to be at the same time.
Come on.
They're walking on dry land.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, just a little bit of moisture touched about 2 centimeters from their big toe.
My Lord.
And as soon as that happened, all of a sudden, what was fact wasn't there no more.
Right.
Ooh. Wow.
Are you understanding? It was fact in their physical eyes that the water was out of banks. You with me?
Yes.
But as soon as they took that spiritual step, ain't about what I see.
Oh.
It's about what I can't see.
Yes.
And I paint a picture. In the physical, the water was out, the river was out of its banks. In the spiritual, the river wasn't even there.
Come on now. This is so awesome.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In the spiritual, there wasn't even a river at that spot.
Woo!
In the spiritual, all God was seeing, that's them 12 stones I want right there for that monument.
Wow.
All God was seeing was this is where you're going to cross. So in other words, before it just touched, you get me?
This is awesome.
It didn't pick a foot, it splash. When you go to step on something, you ever notice in the middle of the night, when you go to step on something that's just barely getting you?
Uh-huh.
Huh? Let me be really rude, you understand about that dog that you think is potty trained. In the middle of the darkness, you don't know it's there, and then all of a sudden you step on it, and so it's on the right side, it's your big toe, and you're like, oh. You know what I'm talking about. Couldn't see it, carpet hit. Come on, somebody.
Amen.
And that's what's going on. Now check this out. So a priest and a priest, now count the ones behind.
Uh-huh. Come on.
I can tell you on leadership here. First 2 priests have better faith than the back 2.
Yeah.
Woo!
That's
Come on.
And ain't that the other two priests behind them didn't believe, and the priests behind them didn't believe. They were just at a spot where until they seen the water disappear, their faith didn't match the one in front of them.
My goodness.
Our churches need to learn to follow the pastor. It ain't about to just speak us.
Yes.
Yes, come on.
Fivefold ministry pastor has the authority to speak over everyone that comes in. It's your pulpit, it's your house of God.
Right.
Yes.
Don't you let them speak over something that don't match your vision.
Woo.
So here we go. Get me in trouble. Sign up 1-800-DON'T-CARE next week. Right? And as soon as their feet touch, now, it might have just touched the tip of those sandals.
Yes, come on.
But as soon as it hit, what was fact was gone.
Yes.
Ooh.
Now you want proof of that. When you got faith the size of a grain of
Mustard seed. There you go.
little bitty, little bitty. You can't see it. See it? No. Maybe that was the little touch of water that touched them sandals.
Wow. Woo.
Because as soon as they touched it, their favorite. And what was a fact wasn't there no more.
Mm.
Some of you can't get past your past.
That's right.
Mm.
So when you finally just step out and when you let your feet hit your faith,
Yes. Woo.
that little bit, guess what's going to happen? All them facts that said you were no good, you'll never amount to nothing, and you'll always be an addict, or you'll always be used, you'll always be a piece of meat, no one ever, all them facts just go away.
Yes.
Mm. Real talk.
They go away. And that's why God brought you to that moment.
Yeah.
Because you're the monument for Him and how much power He has and how good He is.
Wow. Incredible.
People know the facts of where you come from,
Yes.
but they're going to be blown away by the spiritual fact of look at how you changed.
Mm-hmm.
Look how that didn't affect her.
Yeah.
Look how that didn't hold him back. Look at how they lived different. But hello.
Yeah.
Some of you have been wanting God's blessings, but you stretched it too long. You got one thing keeping you from getting what God really wants for you. I'll be honest with you, it's the job you never dreamed of. You think you had some, I'm going to speak to someone, and you know who I'm speaking to. Listen, you know what it is, Buttercup. You've been waiting on it. Listen, when you stop playing games, God will give you a job that's better than the one you lived to get down here.
Woo.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to put you in a spot before long, within 3 years, 5 years after that, if I'm not mistaken, you'll be in an office.
Yeah.
Mm.
And you'll say, how's that? Ain't got the education. God don't care about facts.
Yeah.
Come on.
He just worries about belief.
Yes.
You say, Pastor, I don't know. Oh, I can tell you. I've been off of 2 stores this week in the middle of my sickness.
Mm.
I'm not qualified for none of them. I got told I got to have this to be a VP. I didn't know I was up for it.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah.
Look at
You
God.
got one thing that's a fact.
Yeah.
That's in your way.
Come on.
And then everything else changes.
This is good.
House, money, education, kids, attitudes,
Yes.
Yes.
struggles.
Mm.
Think about that. Don't get mad.
Come on, this is good.
That's why he ain't gave up yet. He wants to, that's why he ain't allowed to. Touch it. Fact. We are crossing the river.
Amen.
Fact. I do have all my belongings.
Yes.
Fact. Check this out. Over 1 million people crossed.
Mm.
Over 1 million people crossed.
Yes.
As soon as one prayed up priest
Mm. Foot touched.
just touched a little bit of water.
Mm. Feet touched the faith. Come on.
Think about this. With Moses, it was a staff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Everyone believed the power is in the staff.
Uh-huh.
But the first promise was, wherever you go, pitch the soles of your feet be yours. God's like, go around tired people looking at staffs and looking at man. Let's just go to the promise, where I said, wherever you put the sole of your feet, it's yours.
Mm. That's a promise.
Western religion changed from being a high priest to just being servants.
Yes.
We're all equal. You're not getting that. With Moses, it was, oh! Right?
Mm-hmm.
With Joshua and the people believed it was just walk.
Yeah.
Mm.
They didn't have to have a man to be the point of contact.
That's right.
They didn't have to have a staff to make the look like the power came from.
Yes.
That's why later on the Ark of the Covenant disappeared. That God didn't be put in a box. God was in us.
Woo!
People are looking for that power. Oh, we found out we have the power of God. Listen, bud, you can have the power of God right here today.
Yes.
The power in that box is in me and you.
Yeah.
You
Come on.
disagree with that, you need to study a little more.
Yeah.
Right.
But think about that. This is the moment for the early church. All you got to do is just walk. Walk. The day the fat became fish. Come on, son. Think about that.
This is so cool.
But think about this. I'm trying not to hurt you. Listen. Guess what they just did?
Yeah.
They just witnessed the supernatural. Hello?
Exactly.
They just witnessed where they didn't have a plan. God had a big plan.
Yes.
What made them do that? They had a desire to see what God could do.
Yes.
That's the difference. When you're going in the middle of what we're going through right now, I had to change my way of thinking. So these sermons and these series, man, they're not just for you. I've been sitting on this for a while to get me out of my thought. Come on. Right? Guys, like, you got to change your desire.
Yes.
Like, what do you mean? You got to change your desire. You need to start seeing. You got to start desiring what I'm fixing to do. What you can't see. You got to start desiring. You know what's happened when I finally got a grip on? We went from like 7, we're up to 20. You want to know how fast that was? This is in 4 months.
Woo!
You all thought about that?
Come on now.
What we were doing for 3 years doubled 4 months.
There you go.
Come on. So think about this. They had a desire, and they had a desire, and that desire is why they did it. They wanted to cross because they wanted to prove God.
Yeah.
Right.
They didn't want to do it just so they could be better.
Yes.
They wanted to cross to prove that God was right.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't want to be healed just to feel better. I want to be healed so everyone knows that God is a healer.
Preach.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't want to resonate this to survive so I look good on my resume. I want resonate to show that they can say it has to be God, it can't be Brian.
Come on.
Because it's been Brian for the last 14 years.
Yeah.
And so by the time that everyone realizes it's God,
Yes.
oh, come on.
That's good.
So here's what happened. God tells them to get their stones. But here's another thing their stones did that most of us miss.
Okay.
The stones didn't only represent their faith in God, right?
Yeah.
It spoke about their desire of God.
Woo!
You leave the legacy, don't just leave something that talks about how your faith was. Leave something that shows the desire that you had for God.
Yes.
That's, come on, that is something. See, the generation that followed those that died in the wilderness, they embraced the promise. They embraced it, right? They embraced it. Now, they only heard it secondhand, but they're embracing something that was spoken. Come on.
That's good.
Now that they got it, they're embracing it. They're like, hey, we're going to take these 12 stones. It's going to represent what God did here, but it's also going to represent our faith. But even better, it's going to represent our desire. Our desire to live and fulfill what God wants us to do.
Yes.
That's big.
It's big.
Sometimes that's the only thing keeping me going.
Come on.
All this, be honest. There's times I want to quit. And then me and Carter talk about it and shoot up. We can't because we got to stay hungry to do what God wants us to do.
Right.
It's about desiring to fulfill what God called me to do, even if I don't want to do it.
Come on.
Some of you will disagree. That's fine. You're not a pastor. There's moments when everyone else quits on you.
Come on.
You're like, why am I wasting my time?
Yeah.
Come on now. That's real talk.
Once you get offers to take care of your family in other places, you're like, must be God.
Come on.
And God, that ain't me. I didn't design you to make money off of me.
Come on.
I designed you because you have a desire, Brian, that most don't have. You'll lay down your life to make sure that it keeps on going even when it looks like it's dead.
Come on. Preach.
It's that desire that drives Paul hard.
Desire.
Put me in line. Come on to the line.
Yes.
Huh? Come on, I forget it. Carter, like, man, you forgot our desire. Our desire was never none of this. Our desire was to reach the ones that no one wanted.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our desire was it's all about.
Souls.
Come on.
That's awesome.
I had a pastor that came to see me this week. He goes, you know, and then my guard, his dad is a pastor like mine. His dad, that generation's taken. Because church ain't like it was when we were brought up. We was talking about how these churches, they didn't like it. You know, it was the kid, they ain't what it's supposed to be. And maybe you can tell me that we're doing stuff you ain't doing. And he goes, man, I don't understand. He goes, does it bug you because do you feel like you're letting your forefathers down like your dad did? Because the ministry ain't growing? And I kind of took it personal. He's calling mine not growing. And I go, you know what? No, it don't bug me. He goes, what do you mean? I go, well, my desire was never to keep our ministry growing that my dad couldn't have. My desire was to do what God wanted me to do. And I prayed since I was a kid, I'll do what no one else will do. I'll go where no one else will go. And it's all about so.
Yes.
So I might not leave a legacy here in Jonesboro.
Come on.
But we got one in 64 other countries.
Yes.
Some little church out of Jonesboro, Arkansas. Come on. The city of all the big churches, reaching 64 different foreign countries, 40-something different states, all in Canada.
Come on.
And they ain't asking for nothing for it.
Yes.
Just wasn't supposed to be saved.
Yes.
Woo!
I
Preach.
had some big churches the other day ask me, hi, so you must be getting paid good. I said, we don't take nothing.
Yep.
They're like, why? I was like, they never told me to take nothing.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. One thing I asked is turn the heat on. But anyway,
Amen.
come on, kill that heat. Help my brother out. Speaking in tongues be come out. Anyway, listen. They were determined to the spot. They went from being determined that they had a desire. What's a desire?
Desire.
When's your faith in God becoming a desire?
That's good.
That preach. Come on, somebody. Listen. I need to end. I'm listening. Listen. To fulfill what God promised.
Yeah.
Although true in regard to Israel as a whole, this seen more clearly in the life of Caleb, people don't know, who refused to forget the promise. He refused. You find this in Joshua 14, 8 and 12. This is way down the line. We're not there yet, but you find this. Caleb, I refuse to forget the promise.
Right.
You know what he's saying? I got a desire to see what God spoke being fulfilled.
Yes.
I got a desire. That means if it takes my life and it takes me doing it, that desire is going to come to pass.
Yes.
You don't see that nowhere else but in Joshua 14, 8 and 12. Nevertheless, my brethren, when they went up with me and made hard of my people to melt, I have wholly followed the Lord God. And Moses heard on that day, saying, surely the land whereon my feet have trod, come on, thou shalt be all thy inheritance. Can everyone say inheritance? Let me give you this real quick.
Inheritance.
Can I tell you, some of you feel like you're earning something, like you're owed something.
Come on.
If I'm talking to you. I mean, like I did ain't you. Do you understand that the inheritance that you're promised is on the other side of your facts that you're afraid to cross?
Yes.
Right. Come on.
Come on. Tina says, and now behold, the Lord hath kept me alive. This is Caleb. He has kept me alive these 45 years.
Kept me alive.
I've had a desire for 45 years to
Preach.
see this promise fulfilled. Listen to me, mama. Listen to me, spouse. You got a desire that your spouse and your kids are going to be saved.
Yes.
Yes.
He promised it.
Yes.
Yup.
Get over it's happening.
Yes.
Bam.
Might not be the way you want it. Might not be the timeline you want, but it's going to happen.
Don't happen. Word don't lie.
It says, and yet, as I am strong this day, as I was in the day that Moses sent me, as though strength was then, even so my strength now, for war both to go out and come in. In other words, he said, my desire is the same it was 45 years ago. I'm ready for whatever God throws my way.
Right.
Hello? I'm not no weaker. This is strength. Come on, somebody. Why is it when we first get saved, we're powerhouses for God? 2 months after, we're weak.
Yeah.
12 says this, and now therefore give me this mountain. Give me this mountain. Hello?
Yeah.
Most of us won't be on the mountaintop, but we don't want to climb it.
That's right.
Come on, somebody. I'm talking to you.
Come on.
You want it handed to you, but you got to realize you got to climb the mountain to get on top.
That's right.
Fly helicopter. Yeah, that's going to work. I'm about to say something that'd get me in trouble. Fly helicopter. I take a helicopter ride, but come on, bud. You struggle with rent. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Climb down mountain and let God take care of some stuff.
Yes.
Come on. Wherefore the Lord spoke in that day, that thou heartest in the day. Come on, that's powerful. Look at this.
Yeah.
They're fenced, and he's saying, give me that mountain. I'll take that one. I got a desire to climb that mountain, God. Most of us have a desire to be on the mountain top.
Right.
But we don't have the desire to do the climbing.
That's right.
Come on.
A desire to do the struggling.
Yeah.
Yes.
A desire to do the slipping.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
This is what he's saying in a nutshell. Of that desire to complete what God promised.
Right.
I had that desire. Ain't that awesome?
Amen.
If you look at how they done everything, they done it so different. The generation that got the cross was like, you know what, we believe we're going to do it. I got a desire to see God do this. I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of hearing how good the 60s, 70s, and 80s were. We're going home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? You know, the last thing, this is how we close it. The last thing that them 12 stones represented. You ready? They represented their God and how he did every bit of it.
Yeah. Let's get it.
Every bit of it. It represented the supernatural power. And it represented not theirs.
That's good.
Not theirs. All they had to do was just have the faith.
Yes.
Believe.
Yep.
I said believe.
Believe.
And God's like, I'll do everything that's supernatural. Joshua 4, 22 and 4. Then they shall let your children know, saying, Israel came over
Mm-hmm.
this Jordan on dry land.
Dry land.
For the Lord your God dried up the waters of the Jordan before you. Ain't that awesome?
Uh-huh.
Can I talk to someone real quick?
What?
God's wanting to dry up all your sorrows and your moaning and your pouting and your crying. He's ready for you to cross.
Yes.
You're just going to have to believe.
Absolutely.
Oh, because you know what? Yeah, facts. Facts are facts. They're in front of you. But God's like, your promise is on the other side of them facts.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
hello, that makes sense?
Yeah.
Before you even too old, they were passed over. A million people. Over 1 million people. As the Lord your God did to the Red Sea, which he dried up before us until we gone over. All the people of the earth might know the hand of the Lord, that it is mighty, that they fear the Lord your God forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
Amen.
Amen.
So you really want to know what you're fighting? You're fighting the facts, where your promise is on the other side, but really what you're fighting is your legacy that you're going to live to everyone behind you, so they know how to follow God.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah.
Amen.
Give you a story and then we're going to close. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So, in the woods when I got older, we've always been good in the woods. And stalking and coming. But it came a certain time when we got to a certain age, and I'm pretty sure this stopped with me, is that we would walk and there'd be certain marks that Grandpa Tom would leave, and I know it would be his marks. There were certain marks that Dad would leave, I knew it was his marks. I can tell you if it was Melvin or Calvin, Uncle Bob never had no marks. They didn't like him. I'm being serious.
Yeah.
Mike had a certain mark, and I had a certain mark. When we walk, or we go off, Keller's Hollow, back into the deep when no one went, we'd walk. You'd be walking, and you'd learn to look for them certain marks.
Yeah.
You get so deep in that, for some reason your compass won't work. It's a magnetic field for some reason, it's really weird. And that's before we had the GPS with the phones, but I'll be honest with you, we come from the state so far down there, GPS probably won't work.
Yeah.
And you got down there and you'd be walking. And I remember there'd be moments that I'd be like, I know I'm right. I know I'm on the right bridge. And I'd stop and I'd listen, get my bearings, and I could hear the highway. I knew which one it was. But I knew I was supposed to be going to a certain spot because that's where we were meeting. And I knew Mike dropped off over there, Dad was coming this way, Grandpa was coming that way. And I knew how to walk a certain way. But there would be moments by what I could hear, I couldn't tell where I was at. I wasn't scared because I knew where the road was. I could always go back.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how most of you are.
Yep.
You get to a spot where you're not for sure where to go, all you can hear is your past, and you know how you can return.
That's true.
So there came a moment that I had to stop and gather myself.
Yeah.
Walk this ridge across this setup. Across this setup, it's 2 dips up. 2 dips going this up. I just start climbing. And then I tell myself, that means there's a mark right here somewhere.
Yes.
There it is. And I walk over and it was always on a tree. We didn't do stones because stuff happens, stones fall.
Right.
Mark on a tree. When I look at that tree, it not only had the mark where my dad showed me the first time, his mark, but I can see Mike's been there a number of times. I can see Grandpa Tom been there a number of times. Peter's been there a couple of times. I can see the old man that came before me, the hunter with Grandpa and them. I can see where they notched into that tree.
Mm-hmm.
And we all had different marks. That tree was full, you could look just right past it, the next one to the right is always to the right because you naturally walk to the right, that's why people walk circles. You'd look and there'd be that tree.
Okay.
So we were supposed to stop walking to the right, start leaning to the left. If we keep going right, center line, we just go higher up and go back around. Anyway, you see that tree. So I can see that tree and there'd be the mark. Dad's mark. Grandpa's mark up and one line down. Mike thought he was cool, trying to make it in. My mark, big chunk. And I can see the marks. And I know where to go. So I follow it. I'd watch, and we'd be hunting, and be doing what I'm supposed to be doing, because we're all going to the same spot. We're pushing everything on the 2 surrounding ridges, we're pushing it right down to the bottom. So sooner or later, one of us is going to get ran over with everything to eat.
Mm.
So you're walking, you're being quiet. And sooner or later, you get to where you're supposed to be. If you're behind, right, just be in the run, I'd be behind, there'd be marks. And I could tell where Dad would walk, because Dad would break a limb a certain way. Dad's just 3 breaks. Tap, tap, tap.
Yeah.
Grandpa's 1. Mike, he'd bend it and pull it so it kind of like the little limb would be, have that mark on the side. So I knew if I was behind and I knew which way to go because I could see the marks.
The marks. Yes.
9, 10, 8, 11, 12, 13, I could walk in the woods. And there'd be days I was on top of it, and I was where I was supposed to be, but there'd be moments I'd be dripping behind, but I was never scared. Not because I was special, it's because I could see the marks.
Yeah.
Mm. That's good.
And I knew where it would lead me.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What marks are you leaving for your kids?
Yes.
If you're like me and Carmen, what marks are you leaving for the church?
Mm.
What marks are you leaving for people that we haven't seen in 60-something other countries?
Mm.
What testament are you leaving? See, we can leave things behind. We can leave a lot of things behind to speak for us. Houses, money, loyalty. Sooner or later, they'll have to pawn themselves or do something to come home.
Right.
Right.
Because they wasn't their belongings.
Yes.
Yeah. That's good.
Well, what we leave behind should be something that speaks our faith, of how we believe God.
Right.
Not only speak our faith about how we believe God, but it should speak so loud, and it should show the desire that we have to fulfill what God wanted to be complete in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense?
Yes.
It must speak of an approach. It must speak that we approach this area, and when we got here, we're here, and this is where God got us to cross, and we're leaving what's behind, we're moving forward.
Yeah.
It must speak of our God and not ourselves. This will get you. It must speak of Jesus and not your last name.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Times change in a lifetime, and your last name don't mean nothing the older you get.
That's right.
That's right.
But it must speak about God.
Yep.
And it must speak of all the accomplishments that He did in your life.
Yes.
All the great accomplishments that He did for your family.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you need to leave behind.
Right. Hi, I'm Cornbread Chris Heineken, and here at Resonate Church, we want to say thank you so much for your continued support for Resonate the Sound, whether you're joining us live right here at Resonate Church, whether you're joining us here nationwide on this station, or whether you're joining us worldwide on YouTube. Thanks so much for your support. Now, you're saying, Cornbread, no, hey, hold on a second. Before y'all go off the air, you know, we want to get involved. We want to help you guys out. You know, don't y'all have a giving option? No, we want to resonate our worship through giving. How do we do it? Glad you asked, because we got 4 ways in which you can resonate your worship through the act of giving. Roll the tape! Number 1, join us live and in person at Resonate Church here at 3702 East Highland Drive across the street from All Star Music in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Sundays, 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Wednesday night, 6:30. Oh yeah, by the way, schedule subject to change. Option 3, the cell phone. Look, we all got one, you might as well use it, right? Well, you want to use your cell phone to resonate your worship through giving? Hey, text the word give to that number right there on your screen. Fast, safe, secure, easy, simple to do. Option 4, mailing. Hey, you want to mail your contribution to us, courtesy of a check or money order? We ask to make all checks and money orders payable to Resonate Church and send it to that address on your screen. Once again, if you're gonna send check or money order, please make them both payable to Resonate Church and send it to that address on your screen. And those are the 4 ways you can resonate your worship through giving. More info, ResonateChurchJonesboro.com. And always remember, show love, give peace, resonate Jesus. Hey, what up, man?
What's up, buddy?
How are you, bro?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Oh my goodness. Woo! Man, just came out of Resonate, man. You know it's all good, man. Woo! And son of us talking about it. Hey, why don't you come join us?
Sundays, 10 a.m. Come join us.
Woo! Sunday night's scheduled to change.
Wednesday,
6:30, it's on.
Our women's ministry is strong and rooted.
Our men's ministry has a solid rock foundation.
All the kids can have so much fun. So can you.
Our church is a great family church.
And your family will love it too. Come join us at Resonate.
Show love.
Give peace.
Resonate Jesus. Wow. That was awesome. That was incredible, Pastor. Thank you for that one. Sometimes speaking doesn't always involve words. It involves leaving something behind. During our 3-year TV anniversary, when we had Danny Hull for the Journey series, when we had Melissa Griffith for the She Is series, and then we had Dr. Jeff Crockett for the No Restriction series. Dr. Jeff Crockett brought up something very important. And it's called leaving something behind. What are you leaving behind? And are you going back to that place as your remembrance, or are you using that to move forward? Let's speak on the leave it behind part, especially when it comes to tonight's series. As I mentioned, speaking doesn't always have to have words. It involves what you leave behind. Here comes my question. What are you leaving behind? A legacy of negativity, doubt, worry, confusion? Or a legacy of positivity, faith in Jesus? Because what you leave behind is a lot important and makes a lot more impact than what you do going forward. Because you realize that everything you do going forward, you're actually leaving something behind. If it's a legacy of faith, you realize that as you progress the next step forward, the faith in God that you have, you left it behind. That way somebody who's looking for Jesus can come right there to what you left behind, to that spot, that legacy of faith spot that's right there on the ground. They can say, this individual believed in God when this situation happened. Now, I know I can relate to that issue and I can move forward and my faith in God will increase. My girlfriend Christina knows this just like I do. And I'm gonna paraphrase this, my conversation with her. I'm gonna paraphrase this to the conversation we had. I'm gonna paraphrase this, and I'm gonna bring that to you, our home television audience, with the following deal that I'm about to say. What you see as a big obstacle is a piece of cake to God. A loud mouth doesn't produce application. It doesn't produce growth. But a quiet, positive mind is the deal that gets renewed and produces the biggest results and the best results and the unforeseen miracles possible. Let your faith remind you of what God got you out of. That doesn't mean going back, living in that same place and thinking, oh man, it was way good back then than it is now. Churches, you lived that curse for long enough. You need to break it. What are you leaving behind? Past traditions? Or are you leaving behind an unshakable faith that is not lukewarm, but a faith that grows and grows and grows with each and every step? See, adversity is a bridge. One of the best bridges ever. It makes a difference. What about adversity being a bridge? It's always the greatest thing ever. And here's the saying that me and Christina talked about. And it fits right here with tonight's program. And I'm gonna leave you with this. A loud mouth never thinks or applies. But a quiet, positive mind produces a lifetime of wisdom. That involves speaking. I'm gonna say that one more time. A loud mouth never thinks or applies. But a quiet, positive mind produces a lifetime of wisdom. Let what you leave behind end up being the miracle and the step that could put someone else that's been through what you've been through and that could put them on the right path. What are you leaving behind? A negative, lukewarm influence? Or an influence that says, here, they resonated Jesus. during their toughest time. And look at what I can do. With Jesus guiding me all the way. Being prepared to speak will involve something we're going to talk about next week. Being ready to renew. God, thank you so much for resonating your sound to us. Thank you at home for watching. Hey, ain't no service like a live wrestling service, because a live wrestling service don't stop. Watch you be left out. Join us live Wrestling Church info on the screen. Plus, 4 ways to resonate your worship through giving. Take advantage of them. WrestlingChurchJonesboro.com is the other option. And on Pinterest, news, scoops, views, info, so much more. Facebook.com/Wrestling Church Jonesboro. And you're watching this program on the YouTube simulcast. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Then ring the bell, ding, ding, ding. That way you ain't missing anything. And make sure you join us right here next week. Same time, same place on this same station. Until then, for everyone in Resonate Church and for everyone at Syndicated Media Television Partners Group, we got to get out of here, folks. I'm Cornbread Chris Heineken. We say to you, show love, give peace, resonate Jesus. We'll see you next Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern for Resonate the Sound. Good night, Canada. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Neither death nor grave. No sickness in our